The Oklahoma Sooners are projected to land a couple of prospects in the 2026 recruiting class. We'll discuss them coming up next here on Locked On Sooners.
You are Locked On Sooners, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma Sooners. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thanks again for making Locked On Sooners your first listen every single day. Shout out to all the everydayers out there. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. The Oklahoma Sooners received another projection, this one a crystal ball from Colin Kennedy for three-star wide receiver out of Texas, Aljour Miles.
Yeah, it looks like the Sooners are making up some good traction with him. He's the 6'2.5", 200-pound wide receiver down there in Kaufman, Texas. Depending on which service you're looking at, he's 4-star on 3, 4-star on Rivals, and he's a 3-star at 247 as well as ESPN, in which ESPN, they don't update their stuff but like twice a year. So we'll see where he finalizes. But very athletic player, someone that, of course, Oklahoma would like to get their hands on. He's also a high jumper. So he's another track kid. It seems that the tradition that Oklahoma has gone with a lot of the wide receivers, they always have to have some sort of connection to track and field. They want dudes that run. They want some high jumpers, sprinters. They like guys that also, participate in like the triple jump, etc. And I like that they're going after that athleticism with the ability to be wide receiver. Because, you can kind of teach the catching portion of it, right? But natural athleticism is really hard to teach, and you can mold that. And I think that Aljour Miles gives you a player that can really add to this room here in the future.
Here's what I had to say about him back in February. He's a big play waiting to happen. He has the speed to run by the defense and does a great job tracking the football in the air. He's a physical player after the catch, displaying a willingness to take on contact and try and gain extra yards. He has really good hands and is able to make plays in traffic. This is a kid that's got a ton of offers. USC is, coming after him, Kansas, Oklahoma State, SMU. It's a Power 4 offer sheet that he's got. Texas Tech, Arkansas, Michigan State, Pittsburgh, who else? Kansas State. So TCU. And TCU, that's a USC, school that's a player. This is a big-time recruitment, and I think he's one of those guys that I think On 3 and Rivals probably have this right. He's more of a blue chipper style of player. That's what I see when I watch him play. Mm-hmm. He's got that ability to be a big-time difference maker at wide receiver. The other crystal ball or projections or predictions that came in favoring the Oklahoma Sooners was for Ryan Gilbert, a guy that's projected to play defensive back at the next level.
Yeah, and Colin Kennedy put in a couple of them. He's probably one of the guys that I trust the most when it comes to a lot of those predictions because he's very, very particular. He waits. He's one of the last. Usually him and Josh McCuistion are typically the last ones to put in. Brandon Drum and Parker Thune, they have a really close relationship with a lot of the recruits, so they usually can get it in a lot earlier than others. But these guys usually wait, and they sit back in the cut and wait to see just kind of how things shape up, even when everybody else put theirs in. And Colin usually waits like literally almost last minute before he throws it in there. He has to make sure a lot of T's are crossed and I's are dotted. And I like the Ryan Gilbert piece. He was committed, if I'm correct, to what was it, Texas A&M? Was that where he was originally committed to? I think he had a home before. Yes, he was Texas A&M. He decommitted in February from them. And ever since he decommitted, he's been getting offers like crazy. Michael Vick over there at Sacramento State tossed an offer for him here in March. And then, of course, Memphis, Baylor. Then you had Washington, Kansas State, SMU. So they've had a lot of people that had some interest in him. Utah, Oregon. So a lot of your money teams, as well as teams that are really known for their defenses, have gone after him. He's about 5'10", 170 out of North Forney. You wonder, if he has the size to really, do something in the SEC. But with the way the offer sheet is, with you adding an Auburn in there, an Ole Miss in there, and he was committed to A&M, it kind of tells me that he's probably got the talent to be able to handle this level.
Yeah, so he's probably somebody that projects to play more on the inside than the outside. Like he's going to be a guy that you're going to throw in there as a nickel corner, similar to maybe a Kendall Dolby. You're going to use that coverage ability. He's got good athleticism. He's got enough speed to be able to play in coverage. He's just a really good athlete. So I think this is a very intriguing addition. And it is a little bit, or not addition, he hasn't committed yet, but a intriguing pursuit, we should say.
Yeah.
In that he's not the corner that Oklahoma's been going after. They've been going after the 6-foot-plus corners a lot of times. But listen, if you can play, you can play. And I think the thing that people love about Ryan Gilbert the most is his competitiveness. And I think that's, to me, more important than a lot of the measurables that you see thrown at cornerback, because you got to have a dude out there that wants to battle, because you're going to be in a battle every single time that you're in coverage. And so much about playing cornerback is a mentality, and you've got to have the right mental makeup to be a difference maker at cornerback. And sometimes you find these guys that play bigger than their size. I like to say bigger than their weight class. And Ryan Gilbert, from what I see, he's one of those dudes that plays much bigger than what he's listed at.
Yeah. He is one of those that will compete. And I'm glad you mentioned like the Kendall Dobies of the world. I remember watching KD playing at NEO, and the way he would just hit people, even at his size, at 5'10", you're just like, oh man, he seems like he's undersized, but then you start seeing him hit people, you're like, oh no, he's got that dog in him. And then you got to see him actually on the field at Oklahoma when they finally put him in late in the season. You're like, oh no, he's going to be a difference maker. Like his football IQ, not only is no fear in hitting and tackling, but his IQ in getting to the right spots to make plays is huge. Ryan Gilbert kind of shows a little bit of that as well in his play, that he's one of those players that he's going to make plays. He's going to be a playmaker for you. And if he can go out there and do that, Oklahoma got themselves a nice little gym out there in the recruiting trail.
Yep. So Oklahoma still doesn't have a defender committed to their 2026 recruiting class. Just 4 players at this point, all on the offensive side of the ball. Jaden O'Neal, Daniel Odom, Will Conroy, and who's the tight end? I'm blanking on the tight end.
Ryder Mix.
Say it again. Ryder Mix.
Ryder Mix.
Yeah, Ryder Mix. A dude that's going to be in the mix once he gets to Norman. He, again, good player, good offensive skill talent that they have committed. Now we need to start seeing them build on the defensive side of the ball. We'll see where they go. It's going to take some time. We know the summer month is really when Brent Venables starts really building his recruiting classes each year. So can't wait to break all that down with you here on Locked On Sooners. So make sure you're tuned in and subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcast, especially on YouTube. Go hit that subscribe button. Want to see those numbers bumping over the off season, especially as we get you closer to the 2025 college football season. Make sure you follow Jay at Unfair Sports. Go check out his channel, Unfair Sports, over on YouTube. You can follow me at John 9 Williams. You can read my work covering the Sooners over at SoonersWire.com. The show is at Locked On Sooners on all of your favorite social media platforms, so go check us out over there. But until next time, he's Jay Smith. I'm John Williams. Boomer
Sooner. I think we're going to land that offensive lineman, though. We just got to make him sure he show up on campus.
Yep. Hit that subscribe button.
Do it.